The Galaxy S9 is just the first of so many smartphones coming out in the next couple of months, so as we get started I want to remind you to subscribe to Android Central here on YouTube so you can see all of our future coverage of this phone and its competition. This is the Galaxy S9 and its larger counterpart, the S9 Plus. They're here to refine, upgrade, and improve the Galaxy S8 in so many ways, all without losing a single thing that made the GS8 the go-to flagship of 2017. Samsung has followed what many people call a tick-tock release cycle, in which you make a big upgrade one year, followed by a subtle refresh the next, and the Galaxy S9 is undoubtedly one of the latter. It's tall, narrow, sleek, and mostly made up of glass, and undeniably a Samsung phone, but dig deeper and you see numerous improvements. The metal that makes up the frame is now thicker, as is the rear glass, helping alleviate some of the fragility concern. The metal's finish isn't glossy anymore, which helps a tad with grip, but also just makes the metal feel like metal again. The phones feel dramatically more solid, denser, less flimsy, and that makes sense when you look at the numbers. Weight is up just slightly, 8 grams for the GS9 and 12 for the GS9 Plus, and both phones are slightly shorter, 1.2 and 1.4 millimeters. It's a great complete package, and just check out those gorgeous new colors. The screens stay the same at 5.8 and 6.2 inches in the super tall 18.5:9 aspect ratio and keep the curved sides, but brightness is up 15% compared to the GS8, more on par with the Note 8. And as you'd expect from Samsung, the displays look absolutely fantastic. Inside that slightly smaller casing, you get the same great platform, with fast charging, fast wireless charging, IP68 resistance, a headphone jack, 64 gigs of storage, and an SD card slot. Samsung has also managed stereo speakers in both phones using the top earpiece like many other companies. The pair is much louder, but more importantly actually provides stereo separation. But here's the disappointment of the spec sheet: battery sizes have not increased, sticking at 3000 and 3500 mAh. Unless Samsung brought some serious efficiency to its software, I have concerns here based on my last year using the Galaxy S8. One of the big benefits of the new Snapdragon 845 and Exynos 9 available internationally is decreased power consumption. Let's hope they can make a difference in longevity. And I somehow managed to bury the lead. Samsung fixed its fingerprint sensor. You can now find it below the camera, right where it's easy to reach, like every other phone out there. Samsung revealed its hand by releasing its Android 8.0 Oreo update to the Galaxy S8, and well, it's nearly identical to the Galaxy S9. Naturally, you get core Oreo features like better notification management, in-app autofill for passwords, picture-in-picture mode, various battery improvements, and smarter text management. Welcome additions all, though you probably won't be ecstatic about any individual feature here. In terms of Samsung's features, you'll find everything familiar with a few tweaks to the launcher, settings, and some bundled apps. Some of the new features were simply those introduced on the Note 8, like App Pair, while others, like proper long press shortcuts in the home screen, are altogether new. Bixby Vision also added a couple new features in the camera, which you'll promptly forget about. One of the entirely new features is Samsung's attempt to fix its other biometric blunder, the iris scanner, with a new feature called Intelligent Scan. Rather than choosing iris scanning or face unlocked, you can now use both to unlock your phone. Enroll your irises and your face, and the phone will unlock with whichever one it can identify first as the screen comes on. In practice, as we've seen with the OnePlus 5T, face unlocking is extremely quick, and for this reason I'd expect the Galaxy S9 will be unlocking with that method a majority of the time. But this way you'll have your irises enrolled as well, so when an app requires that higher security, it can choose to only use an iris scan. That doesn't entirely fix Samsung's muddy authentication options or take on Apple's Face ID in terms of security, but in practice it'll work dramatically better than the old system. Add in the fingerprint sensor that's now usable, and Samsung has near erased security complaints from last year. Samsung's other big software change is, well, it's an Apple Animoji competitor, and to be honest, it actually bests Animoji in just about every way. AR emoji, as Samsung calls it, is simply a mode in the camera, It can scan your face and create a cartoon version of yourself, which you then throw into all sorts of masks and filters and generally silly situations. Will you ever use it? Probably not if you're over the age of 14, but if you do, know that saving and sharing AR emoji is just as easy as taking a regular selfie. Just switch modes in the camera, have fun, capture, and send anywhere you can share regular photos or videos. Seriously, Apple, you are doing this wrong. Samsung certainly didn't rest on his laurels when it came to the camera experience. This is an all-new setup. Somehow, someway, Samsung is shipping a smartphone-sized camera lens with a physically adjustable aperture, swapping between f1.5 and f2.4 as lighting permits. In bright scenes, f2.4 is easier to manage with less distortion. In dark scenes, f1.5 lets in 30% more light to the sensor, cutting down on the ISO and shutter speed. It's a win-win, and it's a technological marvel. The sensor behind the lens is also all new, something Samsung calls Super Speed Dual Pixel. Basically, there's DRAM embedded in the sensor, and it enables some serious capture and processing. With each photo, 12 photos are captured, bunched into 3 groups, and then processed down to a single image. The result is up to 30% less noise and overall finer edges. Sound familiar? It's not unlike what Google's HDR Plus does on the Pixel 2. That camera sensor also enables 960 frame per second slow motion video, which is captured automatically in a 0.2 second burst when it detects motion in the center of the frame, so you get that perfect shot. The camera app is then smart enough to automatically generate looping GIFs you can share out, or set that resulting 6-second slow motion shot in the middle of a standard video. Oddly enough, none of these advanced features come over to the Galaxy S9 Plus's secondary camera, which is a straight grab from the Note 8. It enables live focus portrait shots and 2x lossless zooming, but that's really it. Galaxy S9 buyers should be far more excited about what's happening on the main camera, which has the tools to stay in the conversation as one of the top smartphone cameras. Once again, it's Samsung's world and we're all just living in it. The Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus aren't game changers in terms of new features or crazy designs, nor are they massive improvements over their predecessors. But Samsung is following a proven slower upgrade cycle, targeting people that have phones in the era of the Galaxy S6 and S7. And to these people, the Galaxy S9 looks amazing. The Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus were, by most accounts, the top phones of 2017. And they were certainly the top-selling Android phones. Samsung just went out and released them again, but with all of their major flaws fixed and their specs bumped for good measure. The hardware is a bit more robust, the biometric system is no longer a fiasco, and these cameras are downright exciting. No matter what you think, these phones are likely to break even Samsung's lofty expectations set by the Galaxy S8's record numbers. And it's not just based on the Samsung brand. The Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus get nearly everything right, whether you're a regular consumer or a flagship enthusiast. I am definitely excited about these two phones, and you should be too.